First, you want to make sure your machine is off and unplugged. Second, remove the 2 button head screws that hold the safety shield in place with a 5/32 T-handle. Be sure to keep bolt and washer together for when you reassemble the unit. Next, remove the 3 cup loader rods. Remove the Cadet top of the machine by taking your 5/32 Allen wrench or T-handle and loosening the button head screws on each side. To remove the back, use an 1/8 inch T-handle or Allen wrench set and loosen the button head screws on this side on both top and bottom. On the back side, be sure to loosen these 2 here and completely remove this bolt here using an 1/8 inch T-handle or wrench set. Then remove the back panel. Removing large paper jam as well as changing the rubber pad on our wet Cadet. Loosen and remove the button head screws that hold the sensor in place. Once this is off, be careful that you don't overstress the wire. This could cause tearing internally and may damage the cup sensor. Once the sensor bracket is removed, we are going to remove the 2 socket head screws that hold the cup post in place. I usually switch to a T-handle because it's easier to remove the bolts. Once this is off, you can set to the side for now. Next, using a crescent wrench, you're going to remove the acorn nut in the center of the cup plate. Also, while you are here, you can remove the no-splash nozzle for clearance purposes. After you remove the acorn nut, take a crescent wrench and rotate the turn-only block. You want the heater to be sitting at its highest point. Once this is accomplished, this will allow you to remove the cup plate. Once cup plate is removed, this will expose the rubber block and the main jam behind it. This is your rubber block and your rubber pad. The reason for disassembling a large paper jam is your need to remove the rubber block in order to release the jam. Next, we are going to remove the 2 socket head screws on the underside of the unit. You'll have to pull the machine off the bench slightly to gain access to these, or potentially put the unit on its side. Once the socket head screws are removed, rubber block will be floating. You can remove the rubber block and large paper jam. Feed the material back through the paper guide and tighten down the socket head screws on the underside of the unit. When you have the rubber block back in place, you want to pull the material as tight as you can to make sure the jam is completely out, and then begin reassembling, starting with the cut plate. It lines up with the specific pins. Slide it over the top and make sure the paper goes over, not under, the cut plate. Once cut plate is back in place, take your acorn nut with the washer and tighten down using a crescent wrench. Do not over tighten, just snug fit. Next, we are going to put the cup loader back on using socket head screws and a 3/16 inch wrench set or T-handle. You're going to want to make sure when you put the sensor bracket back, you line the edge of the top sensor with the scribe mark, otherwise the sensor will not read the cups as they drop. Initially you can just get your screw started and then adjust from there. Once this is done, place blue back onto unit, tightening down 3 bolts on the back side with the 1/8 inch T-handle. Tighten down the 2 button head screws on the front of the unit to fully attach the back. Next, place the top back on the unit, tightening down 2 button head screws. Place the safety shield back in place and tighten down the 2 button head screws with washer. Place the 3 cup loader rods back in place and resume normal operation.